Hey YouTube, this is Gracie and welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited to show you guys what I'm going to be making today because my nephew is turning 1 year old and his birthday theme is fish. So that is what we're going to be doing today, making a card, which I have not done on my channel in a very long time. I used to only make cards on my YouTube channel, and most of them were Disney bounding greeting cards is what I used to call them. But today this is gonna have a special meaning, and I'm going to be able to look back at this video and remember when I made this card for him for his first birthday ever. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you do, you know what to do. Give it a thumbs up, and of course subscribe, because I'm trying my hardest to get to 200 subscribers. I'm going to be using this Lawn Fawn stamp set that has a bunch of little fish and crabs. Well, I guess he's a lobster, a little scuba diver, and a submarine. And I think I'm going to be using some of the sentiments on here too. I have this really fun water swirl paper that I think I'll put on the background, using some stickles, which is basically just like fancy glitter glue, and some 3D foam tape, and last but not least, some transparency film, which is basically just plastic. Do you guys remember these like overhead projectors from school the teachers used to use? I loved it when they wrote on those. So we're gonna go ahead and use some of these to maybe make a shaker card. So let's go ahead and get started. The first step I'm going to be doing is taking all of these little critters in here, taking them and putting them on my stamp block, obviously using my Memento Tuxedo Black, and just stamping it onto some white cardstock. Eventually I'll be cutting those all out, and then we'll move on to the next step. Colored and cut out all of my pieces, I'm going to move those aside and cut down my piece of cardstock to my card size, which is, if you've been a long-time subscriber, 5.5 by 4 inches. So I'm going to cut this cardstock just inside of that card size. The next step I'm going to do is take this puffy double-sided tape, and I'm going to border this entire piece of cardstock. You want to make sure that when you're laying all of these pieces down, you don't leave any gaps. That way the glitter can't get out. Now that I have my entire border, I'm going to take my transparency film, you know, from the old school projectors. We're going to take one of these and cut it down to the same size. Now that I've cut my transparency film down, I need to start decorating the inside of this shaker card. So I'm going to just kind of play around with all the pieces that I've done. And if there's any extra or stuff that just doesn't quite fit, we can always use it on the inside of the card or even the back side. So don't be afraid to not use all of the pieces. Now that I've glued down all the pieces that I wanted to have on the front, I knew I wanted to have these 3 fish in particular because they represent my 3 nephews. And I knew I just needed that last fish in there. I guess that's me. I don't know. I just knew I wanted to have a lot of fish on the front since it's a fish themed birthday party. So the next thing is a lot of fun. We get to add our glitter. I'm just going to add a little bit to the center here. Then after, I'm going to peel off the backing of this double-sided tape, foam tape, and then I will be placing on my transparency film right on top. Here it is with all of the glitter inside. It's a lot of fun. I like how it sparkles. But as you could see, we have this huge white border that we don't want. So I've cut down some of the scrap papers from my original cardstock, and I'm just going to glue them down on the top and the bottom. I'm going to leave the sides open for now and attempt to kind of put some of these little characters there to kind of cover it up. I decided to add more cardstock around the edging because it didn't quite cover it with just the characters. And here is the outside of the card. I'm not finished yet, but before I finish, I wanted to go and work on the inside of the card. Obviously, we still have our remaining little pieces here that I definitely want to use. Kind of put them throughout. And then my last little pieces of sand, or whatever you want to call these guys. But we need our sentiment. So I'm going to choose one from here and just stamp it in the middle. There is one of 2 things that I do to every card, and that is I stamp a letter G on the back. And I usually add a little extra design that kind of ties into the rest of the card. So I'm going to do that. And then we're going to get to the fun part of the outside of the card. Last, but certainly not least, I'm going to be adding stickles to the outside of my card so it will look like bubbles. This will also allow me to hide the last bits of white that I have on the sides. While I wait for the stickles to dry, I'm going to do another thing that I do to personalize all of my cards. I doodle all over the front of the envelope. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to sit here and do all of my specialized doodles. Have it, my little baby nephew's first birthday card from Auntie. I really like how it turned out. It's super cute. Gets to shake it when he gets it. And then as soon as you open it up, you have your submarine with your weird little light fish falling in love with the submarine. And my sentiment says, "You light up my world. Hope you have a sublime birthday." And then on the back side, you have the letter G, which is, you know, for my name, and a little blue fish on the inside. So I hope you guys enjoyed this process and that you give this video a thumbs up and of course subscribe. Head on over to the rest of my videos and give them some love. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and I'll see you next time. Bye!